Ryan Manchee here with Basis Technologies, excited to sit down with the great Bohb Blair of Jones Soda. Bob, thanks so much for joining us today.
The great Bohb Blair, Ryan.
The fantastic.
The fabulous Ryan.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Well, I'm excited to talk about marketing trends with you, but I think before we get into that, Jones Soda, iconic brand, I think just fascinating story. Can you talk a little bit about what makes Jones Soda a great brand?
Oh my God, what doesn't make Jones Soda a great brand? I've loved Jones Soda so much longer than I've worked there, and that's such a great feeling, you know? Jones has been around for 25 years, 26 actually, if you're being very serious about it. And Jones, if you talk to somebody about it, it's amazing because so many people instantly know exactly what they're talking about. As soon as you say Jones, like, oh, Jones Soda, they'll have a favorite flavor. They'll be like, oh, I love the cream soda or the berry lemonade. That's amazing. But then they instantly know something else about us. Like, oh, you're the brand that puts the photos on the labels. You're the brand that has the fortunes under the caps. And it's just, the romance of the brand is part of what everyone knows about us and expects of us. And it's just been part of the brand since day one. And it's a beautiful thing. And, you know, I worked in so many industries where brands would be so envious to have that, and it's just intact, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I love that, and I feel like, yeah, you're right. When I think about Jones Soda, beyond the great flavors, I think about the label, the photos. When it's like that was just, it sparked the curiosity the first time I had one, and I would say you could argue Jones Soda was like at the advent of this idea of user-generated,
100%.
kind of like, but before we called
fan-driven brand,
yeah, exactly,
all that stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, it was marketing speak because those brands were envious of what brands like Jones had with fan engagement, and it is wonderful, and we still get just amazing, and I mean, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're heart-wrenching stories from people about the photos or submitting a photo or collecting the photos or how they opened a cap at a serendipitous moment in their life, and it just. We get them all the time, and they never get old. It's unbelievable, these stories that come in. So I just love the brand means a lot to people.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you all, I guess, like over the course of time, embraced more in like what was user-generated kind of content from a marketing perspective to what now the kind of like buzzy thing is influencer marketing? Like, is there an opportunity to explore that more and get more involved with that?
Well, we do a ton of influencer marketing, and you know, when I first came over to Jones, one of the things I was most interested in is just kind of understanding the playbook that was happening, you know, at any given moment. And you know, when I came on board, you know, I came from working on giant portfolio brands and very big CPG brands, and you know, we would run influencer programs, of course we would. And I came in and I said, what's going on with this or that? And I said, oh, we have this wonderful influencer program. And Jones has about 30 influencers working for us on a given month, which is a lot, even by some of the CPG brands I worked with. Most of them, if not all of them, are not compensated with money. They get free soda and they love us, and we do stuff with them and we celebrate their projects online, and we kind of do a quid pro quo almost relationship with our influencers where we get excited about them and they get excited about us, and we send them free soda, and every once in a while we'll sponsor something they're doing or something like that. But you know, it seems like a beautiful and small, like little thing. But last year we took that same dynamic, that same relationship, and scaled it up in a couple ways. Last year we did a partnership, nootropic soda with Mike Tyson, under that same model. This last summer we did a partnership with Sub Pop Records, where every band that had an album coming out on Sub Pop Records got one of our AR video labels, and we celebrated the release of their album. Suki Waterhouse, who's a pretty huge artist, was doing her US tour, and we let her use our Jones tour bus. So the Jones tour bus is going across the US, and you know, and it's like, this is a big sponsorship by any stretch of the imagination, but it was all just, you know, people doing favors for friends. You know, and that's how the brand works. People love us and we love them, and we just want to do stuff together.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like even just with that initial 30, and then as you're talking about as it's grown, it's very authentic. And I think that's something that a lot of like big brand marketers, and you know this all too well from your former lives, that you want to do things, but you also want to make it authentic.
It's got to be real.
What tips, what suggestions would you have for other marketers that are out there to maintain that level of authenticity that Jones does so well?
Well, if you want to catch up to us, start a brand now and do something and fall on the sword over the romance of it for 25 years, and then come talk to me. You know, and I think that's one of the things you cannot fake. You can't fake about Jones is There's nothing that any brand could do today that would be the same behavior that would have that legacy attached to it. So, it's a beautiful thing that I get to kind of, beat my chest over as somebody who just came and got onto this unbelievable, brand. But it is true that the authenticity is born by consistent behavior over time. And anybody who wants to start, whether it's a social responsibility initiative, whether they want to start a fan-driven initiative, whether they want to start something at all, if you start it as a marketing program, it smells like you started it as a marketing program.
Yeah.
But if you start it as the way you make your labels from day one, well, then it doesn't feel like a marketing program when you get excited about doing labels. In the same way that we've been doing, gay pride initiatives for way back, and I could pull up a Rolodex of angry calls that we've gotten from labels that celebrated LGBTQ culture and went to communities that weren't as thrilled about that and said, we don't want your product in our store. And we're like, that's the only way it comes. So we've stood by that community outside of gay pride.
Yeah.
So when we do a gay pride initiative, it comes from 100% authentic place. And you should see our unbelievable augmented reality gay pride labels that are out. Yeah. They have video content that's so awesome. And I guarantee you most brands would be terrified to put on their labels. And we're just, 100% about it, 100%.
I love that. I feel like that's another interesting topic. You're seeing more and more brands that are leaning into more diversity, more inclusivity, and that y'all live it.
We live it.
It's part of the brand, and it's not, hey, should we do this? It's we are doing this.
Of course we do it. It's an of course we do it.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. That's fantastic. So talk a little bit about the AR labels.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, super fun.
That's really cool.
We call them real labels, little pun. Yeah. And it's, for years, people send us photos and we put them on our labels, and we have a really good time picking the best ones. That's like literally the best meeting at Jones is the picking the label meeting. We get so many pictures. But as you can imagine, just like every other platform in the world, we started getting videos, and we would get videos from our fans. And there was some video storytelling that was coming in. And the idea was always, well, how would you bring that to life? And so actually before my time, this program started, and it was app-based, and it was, it worked really well. You hold up your phone and the video plays. When I came in, I saw an opportunity to elevate that a little bit because just app-based experiences are kind of moving aside. Yeah. So we just recently updated that to a mobile AR experience that's web-based. The load times are nothing. But I also have a back-end database that our internal team that manages our influencer program, our graphic designers, they can manage it themselves, which means anytime I want, with no development costs, no anything, I can make a label come to life with custom video and play inside the label, and it tracks with the bottle and all the things that you would expect. But it's wonderful, and it enables us to go to our community and say, who's got unbelievable video stories? We want to do some really fun stuff for gay pride, and it comes in, and we can just manage it ourselves and play around with it ourselves.
That's fantastic. That's very cool to see and explore it. And I feel like a lot of big talk, a year ago was all about the Metaverse. And I feel like AR is the kind of living, breathing kind of manifestation that works really well today.
Yeah, I think if anybody's using the terms of the day, XR and that mixed experience, that's the one that feels like it has traction.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one that comes to life every day for us. And you see utility for it, you see entertainment for it, That's very cool. So the new kind of trend is all about AI, artificial intelligence. What's your take on that as a longtime marketer and also as CMO of Jones Soda? Do you feel like there's opportunity? I'm going to back it out from longtime marketer. I'm going to back it out to human.
Okay. All right.
I've seen Terminator.
Okay.
We all know where this ends. The Singularity Principle eventually will happen, and the robots will kill us all. But before that, of course, there will be all sorts of places that it shows up, and like a lot of other things, the robots will take over certain jobs for people. I remember, we were here at a music festival, right? And I remember back in the day when some of the music tools first came out, and they would make beats for people, and they would make some parts for people, and GarageBand's gotten pretty good these days. And when it first came out, all the musicians were like, "Oh no, it's the death of real people." And it only takes a little bit of time for people to love that before they start to go, "Oh wait, I've heard this. I now know what a human sounds like, and I know what the robot sounds like, and I prefer real people." And then they want real musicians again, and that's why bands that have real people playing really good are way better than somebody pressing this button. So we're in an era right now where we're wowed a little bit by what the robot can type, and we're wowed a little bit by how fast it happens. And I think that wow will dial down, and there'll be a lot of jobs that the robot will still do in the future, but they'll be the low rent jobs. You'll still want a human to do your good stuff.
Yeah.
And it will smell better. It'll feel that, have that sheen of humanity on it that it's so hard to get.
I like that. One thing you talked about was that internal team, whether it's the developers, it's the humans that are adding that touch there, that level of creativity. And there's a shift with brands that are saying, hey, I want to bring in some of this functionality, some of this expertise, some of this capabilities. How have you developed that? What does that team look like? And how do you still partner with an agency or agencies and technology providers?
Totally. We've been, I think what's interesting is me moving from the jobs I used to have where they were big and unwieldy, even though you tried to wrestle them to the ground, to being at Jones. It's a much more simple machine, and you can see all the parts, and, everything is so obvious, the impact it has, short and long term, you can tell right there. So for us, we've in-housed almost everything. Why wouldn't we? We do most of our buying on platforms that have self-service portals on them. We do our influencer program, but we like to stay very close to our influencers. We do almost everything as product news. That's where most of our marketing comes from, is product releases and earned media. And we work very closely with some external teams, like a PR agency. We'll use external design and content teams when we need it, but we have a great in-house design team. So, we're not shy about going outside the fold, but we have almost no permanent relationships outside the fold other than our PR agency, because we bring things in and out as we need it. We're pretty scrappy.
I love that. There's the nimbleness and there's the flexibility that allows you to operate so efficiently.
And using it in a good way, control.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot lost in translation when you go outside home base, and even the best agency partner isn't you. And I think it's great, the authenticity that comes from being, coming from the control of the brand.
That's great. One last question for you. If you had a magic wand and you could fix one thing.
Have I not shown it to you?
Yeah. If you had a magic wand, what's one thing that you would fix within the marketing advertising industry?
Oh my goodness, that's just impossible. I would immediately get rid of all the bloat in all the big agencies and just let the pain happen for a few minutes and just see where all the riffraff lands. I think it's unbelievable how many humans we're sustaining, making advertising for brands that people spend all their time ignoring. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity to redirect that resource.
Yeah, interesting. I like it. Bohb Blair, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Hey, you too.
Good luck.
All right.
Thank you.